Well, for your first solve, what you did was a yellow cross, where you did an F prime, R prime, to bring this red edge down, B prime, to put the blue edge in the correct place, U, then F2, then D2, to solve that. I think that was a pretty fine solution. Afterwards, what you did was the green and orange pair, so these two here, so you paired it up like so. Then you did wide moves to insert it like this into the back right. What I prefer is doing R prime, F prime, U prime, FR as a back right insert. Opposed, even though it's more moves, I think it's a lot more ergonomic than having to re-grip my hand to solve it into the back right. But if that suits you, it should be fine. For your second pair, you did the blue and red pair, the corner being here and the edge piece being here, and you did a pretty good way to pair it, which is quite nice. So you did a R prime, F, R, F prime, which pairs it up like this. Then you did a U2, then you inserted it to the left. The only issue with doing this is that it makes it a little bit harder to look ahead to the next pairs, because what you did was solve diag slots, especially having the back left being open. However, you did notice that the back left had a pair here pre-made, so you just took it out, then inserted it with your wide moves, and then finally you saw this last pair. There was a bit of a pause, but I think that was pretty fine. Then you had OLL. This is a pretty easy COLL, which is just F, triple sexy F prime, but it's not 100% necessary to know. And then finally you had the Y prime. So the easy COLL is just simply F, triple sexy F prime, which gives you solved corners. For your second solve, what you did was a white cross with the red already attached to its correct center, and the orange piece back here, the green here, and the blue here. So what you did was an R, U prime, then a wide R, U prime again to solve those two, then and kind of a rotate back up, then an R2, D, R, F. I don't really like this solution personally, as it is a little bit hard to look ahead to. So a kind of slightly fancy solution you could do is this, where you hold it on the white. You just kind of do an F like this, do an M prime move, F, which solves these two. Then your hand will be in the correct spot to do an R2 after with a D prime, R, and then do the R2, then the F. So I think that's much quicker, and you have the first pair just here to be able to be solved quickly. What you did first was the blue-red pair, so the corners here, and the piece back here, so you solved it. Then you rotated this way and solved it into the left. There was a bit of a hesitation on this pair. Otherwise, for the solution, the only thing I would kind of critique is that instead of solving it into the front left, is that instead you rotate it, do a Y prime rotation and solve into the back right, because it's much better. Prioritizing back slots is usually much more effective for look ahead and just being able to spot pairs much quicker. So I'd recommend rotating the other way and prioritizing back slots first. Afterwards, you did the green and red pair. So what you did was you took the piece out, so with an R prime U2 R, then you didn't rotate and just used F moves to insert it. There's a bit of hesitation on this pair again. However, I think the solution was fine. Just instead of solving with F moves and having both slots solved afterwards, I think it's much quicker if you just rotate over then solve it with L moves. First of all, you're rotating so you can at least see the last two slots in your right hand. So maybe that can bring potential for a 2-gen finish. And it's also arguably quicker to do L prime U prime L rather than doing F prime U prime F. Afterwards you saw the green and orange pair, so that's these two, and there's the other pair here. So the way you paired this one up was you separated it with this slot in front, then inserted it. While looking at this pair, I noticed that these two will come down here, and what you did afterwards, after a bit of hesitation again, was you moved over. Due to your hesitation, you did a U prime and then another U prime, so that could have been fixed a little bit. Then you paired it up like normal, then inserted it. Afterwards, you had your OLL. And then you had this A-perm. So for your third solve, we had a very simple white cross with these two relative to each other with this red piece. So what all of their solution was an L and R prime to solve those two, and D to move it across, then an L prime. So pretty easy cross. What you did for your first pair was the red and green. So what you did was you did a U2 with a bit of what you did was a UU with a bit of hesitation, took it out, paired it up, and then inserted it. Instead, for this specific pair, I prefer this very niche solution. However, it does require you to be pretty adept with L moves. So it just goes like this: L prime, U, L, U prime, L, U, L. And then you can just use your wide moves to insert it into the right. What you did for your second pair was you saw this corner and this edge, and that was and you did a very move efficient insert. I wouldn't have seen this personally. I would probably have gone for this pair. But what you did was an F prime, U prime, F, which pairs it up. Then you just inserted it. Afterwards, you did a Y prime, U2, and then another Y prime, which Y2 in a 3x3 solve isn't very nice, but you did this because you saw this pair, and you wanted to pair it up like so, and then insert it into this slot here. What I would have done, in my opinion, is I would have used this back slot even though, or I would have used this slot. Let's say I use this slot. This will take it out as well, so L prime, U2, L, so that pairs it up, U2, UR prime. Otherwise, what you could have also done is an R prime, U2, R, and then that will pair it up, and then you just continue that R again, take it out, pull it, insert it, then insert the pair back into the back. So those are two ways you can pair that up. Afterwards, what you did was the final pair. What you did was a U2, R, U prime, R prime. Then you inserted it with an rotation and then an RU prime, R prime. The U prime at the start, which is what you did, isn't very nice, but then you did your OLL, which was fine. And then you had a F perm. You also used that good F perm, which is really fast, rather than the wide move F perm, which can be a bit clunky at times, so you actually did the correct F perm in my opinion, so that's good. For your fourth solve, what you did was a white cross. These two pieces already are solved. And this red piece needs to go here, and this blue piece needs to be attached up here. So what you did was an R, D, B, L, F. I think a better way to approach this would be with orange on front, a B move like this to bring this up, a D, L, F, R, which does the same thing just from a different angle. For your first F12 pair, you did the blue and red one. So here is the corner and here's the edge. what you did for the blue and red pair, which is R prime, U prime, R, then you rotated and inserted it into the front left. Again, I think it's better for you to rotate the other way with the Y prime and insert it into the back right, which is a back slot. But again, prioritizing those back slots is quite important. Afterwards, you did the blue and orange pair, so the corner here and edge here. So what you did was an R prime U R to separate it, U R U R, and then a U2 L U prime L. What I saw first actually was the green and orange pair, which I think is slightly better, which you could solve by an F prime U prime F, then your wide move insert into the right slot. Then what you did was the green and orange pair, where you did a U prime R U R prime U F R F prime to insert into the back. Then you had this last pair where you did a rotation and then you did a sledgehammer into the back. I think it's better if you did a rotation this way and you do a sledge with the left hand, but because I think it's slightly faster doing it with your left. So I think the potential for it being fast is higher than the potential of doing it with your right hand and having to sledgehammer it into the back. Afterwards you had the OLL, and then you had a J-perm. For your final solve, what you had was this white cross. This pair already made. These two pieces are opposing each other, the blue and green. This orange piece up here and the red already solved. So what you did was a U, L, R prime F2, D2, F2, which I think was pretty fine, considering there's this pair made here and this pair already in the slot. And what you did for your first pair was the green and orange pair, so it was these two. I assume you didn't see the pair, this pair here, so what you did was you took it out, L prime, U prime, L, and then did a U, then insert it into the back. What you could have done instead is take out, insert this pair, which would have kicked this pair out and then you can just use that to insert into the right. Afterwards you did the green and red pair, which was already set up, so all you did was a U prime, F prime, U prime, F. However, instead of using F moves, which is inherently slower, what you could have done is did a smart rotation by rotating, then solving it into the back with an R prime, U prime, R, which is first faster by using just RU gen moves, and second of all leaves you with two front slots open rather than having to just rotate afterwards, which can be a bit more difficult for look ahead. Afterwards you did the blue and orange pair, so it was a simple L prime U2 L to pair it up, then insert, which is pretty conventional. Then you did a U2 R U R prime to pair this last pair up, then insert into the back, so that was pretty okay. Afterwards you had this OLL, and then you had the UB perm. So I think the good thing is that you used for the majority of them anyway, pretty solid inserts. Some of them I haven't even used before and they're pretty efficient, so I applaud you on using good inserts. However, what you tended to do during F2L was pause, and I mean quite frequently pause, which does slow down your times. Even with bad F2L solutions, you can, I guess, get good times. You can get good times with kind of inefficient F2L solutions by having flawless F2L look ahead. I wouldn't recommend doing that because it's inefficient, but the general gist of your solves is that you have very good solutions, you just need to reduce the amount of pauses. So, how to reduce the amount of pauses? First of all, slow your turning a bit. Oh, cliche, slow your turning, look ahead. These words kind of get overused a lot, rightfully so, because look ahead is, when you're at this level and you're wanting to improve, is quite important. Being able to go between each pair and going from the cross to the first pair flawlessly and seamlessly will allow your solves to get faster and reduce your pauses. So how do you go about doing that? Well, first of all, you slow your turning. Second of all, mentally plan, try to really track your first few pieces in for mentally track the first pair. Physically look at the cube and go, oh, where will this corner go? Let's say you have a cross right and you know your cross solution. You go look for a corner piece, find where that sticker will end up. Look for the corresponding edge piece and see where that sticker will end up and use that as your first pair. It may not always be nice, but it will teach you how to track your first pair. I'd recommend some of the JPerm videos on lookahead and just going through that and watching those videos and really implementing them. Rather than just doing mindless solves, which I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of doing, really focusing on that F to L and the look ahead aspect of your solve will be important from here on out. So yeah, everything else in your solves were pretty fine. Your algs for last layer were pretty okay, and I think, yeah, the main thing you have to work on is really that look ahead. Thanks for sending in your average of 5, and for any other viewers, if you want to get an average of 5 critique, check out the link in the description and just fill out the form accordingly, and who knows, maybe the next video might be you. So yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe and stuff, and goodbye.